Something unique has happened across America, literally right under our feet. Across our country, there's more oil and gas drilling than in the rest of the world combined. Thanks to the increase in production and greater efficiency, last year the U.S. imported 45% of the liquid fuels we use, down from 60% in 2005. And if domestic oil production continues to rise, we could actually approach a goal most thought impossible: energy independence.
Hello, Oklahoma.
When a Democratic president
It's good to be here. Everybody have a seat.
visits a decidedly Republican state in an election year,
It's good to be back in Oklahoma. I've been back here since the campaign.
odds are it's about something a lot of people care about.
Under my administration, America is producing more oil today than at any time in the last 8 years.
Yet gas prices have soared this year, a trend the president admits is out of even his control.
But the fact is, producing more oil at home isn't enough by itself to bring gas prices down. And the reason is we've got an oil market that is global, that is worldwide. And I've been saying for the last few weeks, I want everybody to understand this, we use 20% of the world's oil. We only produce 2% of the world's oil.
But that could be changing. Thanks to horizontal drilling and hydraulic fracturing, reserves of oil and gas previously thought unobtainable are now in abundant supply. John Rochelle is president and CEO of Oklahoma-based Devon Energy.
We always knew that there was a lot of oil and natural gas in these very deep shale formations, but we didn't know how to get it out because the rock is very, very tight. And while it migrated out over geologic time, so we're talking about millions of years, when you drilled into it, you couldn't produce from these very tight shale formations. So the real renaissance in this industry over the last few years has been that we've figured out how to use a combination of horizontal drilling, where we drill down 1.5 miles or 2 miles into the ground and then laterally into these shale formations, and then use this technology called hydraulic fracturing, which is injecting a mixture of mostly water and sand, about 99.5% water and sand, and then some other chemical lubricants into the ground, 2 miles down into the ground, and we crack open the shale so that the oil and natural gas can be produced. So that's really the technology that's totally revolutionized this industry, that's opened up this enormous resource base, both on the natural gas side, and now it's migrating into the oil side as well, and that's really reshaping the future of energy in this country.
But such newfound abundance does have a downside. While global demand has kept oil prices relatively high, the price for domestically produced natural gas has plummeted. Too much supply and too little demand.
There's a series of events that have come together that have caused natural gas prices to go as low as they have. The fact that supply has been significantly increased as a result of the technology that we've developed in the industry, the fact that we had an economic slowdown from 2008 through 2009, 2010 in this recessionary period, and then some very unusually warm weather this past winter, when large amounts of natural gas are usually taken out of storage, was a very, very warm winter. So the confluence of all of those factors has driven the price of natural gas down.
And while natural gas prices are at historic lows, the head of the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission says when dealing with a non-renewable commodity like oil and gas, rest assured, tomorrow may not look like today. Mr. Mueller, and I've heard you say that in less than 4 years, we've seen the energy industry actually turn upside down. Tell us what you mean by that.
I go back to the summer of 2008. We were still booming economically, both domestically and worldwide, and we had all-time high prices for petroleum and natural gas. In terms of natural gas, it was pushing $14 per MMBTU. And then the debate at the time was really about whether we were going to be importing liquefied natural gas into this country. And you fast forward less than 4 years later, because of the shale boom and the extraction of it from hydrofracking, we now have a debate in this country about exporting liquefied natural gas. The price of gas is around $2 versus $14 natural gas from the summer of 2008. The world has really flipped upside down.
According to an independent study, domestic supplies of natural gas could fuel our country for the next 100 years, something hard to imagine just a decade ago.
Right now, we produce somewhere around 20% of our electricity in this country by burning natural gas. And that share is increasing in a hurry. And that it's partly because of the low price of natural gas, but there are a number of other factors too. The key is that as we burn more gas to make electricity, the two industries become more interdependent because gas is also used to heat homes and heat water, particularly in the colder climates. And as they become more interdependent, we have to make sure that the two industries are coordinated in a way that we can assure reliability.
It seems as if the long-term prospects are kind of smooth sailing for natural gas. But right now, the waters are pretty choppy for our natural gas producers, are they not?
Well, the whole idea of using the hydrofracking and the horizontal drilling that has really revolutionized the industry in just the last few years and has allowed us to see this incredible domestic resource that we didn't really know was there, that has, again, helped the consumer because prices are much lower. In some cases, they're so low for producers, though, that they have to make their money off of the liquids in the gas, and that the gas itself is priced too low, so some of those wells are being shut in. And so it's not only choppy economically, but there's also the debate going on amongst the public as to the pros and cons of the fracking technique. A lot of people don't understand it, and that debate is certainly happening in parts of the country.
And while it is a debate that could threaten any chance of our country becoming energy independent, the long-term challenge for natural gas producers is the establishment of the filling stations and infrastructure to transition America's cars and trucks to cleaner burning natural gas. But in the short term, the first victim of low natural gas prices is the proposed major reduction in the state income tax. Legislative leaders have seen firsthand how quickly tax revenues can decrease as natural gas prices slip. Collections from gross production taxes on oil and natural gas were down 20% from this time last year, and the fifth consecutive monthly drop. Yet our state's economy still looks pretty strong. According to the state treasurer's office, despite revenues from oil and gas falling by double digits, overall tax collections, which is a leading sign of our economy's strength, were up by close to 8%. When we return, I sit down with the CEO of America's second largest natural gas producer, Chesapeake's Aubrey McClendon.